I want to welcome all of you to the first regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees in North Spencer County School Corporation for January of 2026. Superintendent Schneiders has 4 days prior to today provided each of the board members a packet of information and reference to the items on tonight's agenda. This packet is for our review and to have questions or concerns addressed. At this time, I would like to call this meeting to order with a moment of silence. Our vision is to provide inviting and challenging learning opportunities for everyone. And tonight we have Mrs. Meredith DeVille, the principal of Heritage Middle School, to give us a presentation on the middle school. Welcome.
Thank you. I did, get my maybe head out of my camera slide. So if you remember last year, my slide deck did not load, so I didn't even add that to my stress plate for today. So today I'm just going to share a little bit about one of the changes that we've had this year at the middle school. So as you know, there's a schedule change with the high school, adding in a homeroom every day. And so we have that as well at the middle school. So just talking about how we're using that time each day. So before we would have like every Tuesday, we had a different schedule. One Tuesday was clubs, one week it wasn't. So having this constant, we know every day we have that 30 minutes right before lunch. Our goal was to really use that intentionally and make sure we were getting the most out of that time. So one thing that it helped with, like at the beginning of the year, is we had that opportunity with homerooms number one on the first day for them to really spend a lot of time with their homeroom teachers, start building those relationships. When we started especially with our 7th graders, learning how we go over to lunch and our expectations there, our homeroom teachers were able to walk them over right before, or right at the end of homeroom, they would walk them over, kind of go over expectations. Maybe about the first week or so we did that, helping with that, further kind of getting that relationship with them. Every kid knew who their homeroom teacher was, kind of helped with that expectations. And then also some of the things that we have done with, that we might have usually done in that read-in period right after lunch, we've been able to move to homeroom so that it's not taking away from academic time. So making sure that kids are getting their agenda books checked by their homeroom teachers, make sure we're filling those out. Some of you may or may not remember last year I presented on how we use bingo cards for incentives and kids incentivizing good behavior. So homeroom teachers are the ones checking those, once again, not taking away from academic time. Another thing that we have done with our homeroom time is anytime we've had an assembly or wanting to bring in a speaker, we schedule it during that time. So once again, we don't have to have a whole other different schedule to have a speaker or start first period late. So for instance, we had our Red Ribbon Week kickoff assembly during homeroom. We've had our fundraiser kickoff during homeroom. We've had an Officer Anderson to talk about social media and bullying. And then we've also had, in August, we had Coach Wilkerson and Jen Lindsay come in to talk about our bus expectations and lunchroom expectations. Also, we've used that time for a middle school pep session. So sometimes we're invited to the high school one, sometimes we're not. But we've also had the opportunity to have our own to celebrate our sports. And I mean, I know middle school is not everybody's cup of tea, but it's not a lot more fun than 320 middle schoolers in the gym all together. And I'm not even being sarcastic, like it can be actually a lot of fun. And then also, for instance, this week we have 2 different meetings during homeroom for coaches to come in and like talk about the upcoming middle school swim season and who's involved, or the upcoming softball season and who's involved. So once again, we're not having to take time away from our academic time to have these meetings. We have a set aside time each day. One thing that I am most excited about our homeroom time is it started last week and then we have it again this week. They're called Blitz groups. So we already have that read-in time at the end of lunch or right after lunch where teachers are working on reading and writing. But this gives us an extra opportunity during the day where teachers in math and ELA are bringing in targeted groups to further remediate based on what we've seen in the ILEARN checkpoints, getting ready for that ILEARN. So they've already have what they're doing in class, they already have what they're doing in that reading period, but that's just an extra opportunity for them to really zone in on certain kids and what they need. But more than that, I think I felt this was kind of missing last year with, they're with their first period teacher for, I'm sure what felt like forever for those first period teachers, and then they're with a different teacher each day for the period. So this really allows for the kids to kind of have an identity with their homeroom. And so with that, we've been able to take the time to work on different like kindness activities and what it means, like how we should be treating each other, different like social emotional things, different team building activities. And we've seen those team building kind of really get excited, I guess is how you want to put it. So we've been able to do through their homework a door decorating competition during Red Ribbon Week. And I think not only the kids really liked that, but I kind of think the teachers really liked having that. We also saw that through right before Christmas. So the Tuesday afternoon right before break, the high school is still in finals. We're not doing that to ourselves or our middle schoolers. So we just kind of have our first semester awards. And then last year we did it with our first grade teacher. This year we were able to do it with homeroom groups, kind of Christmas competitions where it's different games where the homerooms are competing against each other. And they got a really cool trophy to put in their room that they were the Christmas competition champs. But just the excitement that the kids had for each other based on what they were competing in and really cheering on the other members of their homeroom was pretty, once again, special, which I chose middle school, so I'm gonna think that. It's just a really neat thing to see for them to kind of see those relationships build, not only with those different kids that they probably didn't go to elementary school with when we're in the 7th grade or 8th grade, maybe kids that they don't sit at lunch with or have classes with, to really build those extra opportunities for relationship building with both the teachers and the kids, and then seeing them cheer each other on. And some of those kids are probably not in sports, not in anything where anyone's ever had the opportunity to cheer them on before. So just really building those relationships and those opportunities through that extra program.
So generally, would say it's been way less disruptive to normal class.
Absolutely. So for instance, and I had this written and I didn't say it. So for instance, there's a couple students that I check in with a couple times a week, and we just know it's going to happen during homeroom. So they're not leaving class. I don't have to worry, are you taking the test that day? It's during homeroom. Same with Bethany C. Corn, her pulling groups or having kids that she checks in. And it's also, kids have questions throughout the day to say, comes in during homeroom. We'll talk about that during homeroom. So I'm not pulling kids if I don't have to out of class, and that gives them one less excuse to ask to leave class.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, first item on the agenda would be the roll call, and we've got David Warninger,
Present.
Wayne Brinkman,
Present.
Jennifer Rich,
Present.
Chris Flohr,
Present.
Jennifer Aldridge,
Present.
Brittany Giles.
Present.
Okay, next item on the agenda would be reorganization. We do not have any new members, so we have no oath of office. We have election of officers for 2026. Mr. Over the floor.
Yes, and someone will need to make a motion to appoint a president. Would someone like to do that?
I'll make a motion to retain Andy Box as president of the school.
Present.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next one would be the vice president.
I'll make a motion to appoint Chris Flohr to vice president.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll need the same for a secretary for 2026.
I'd like to nominate Wayne
All in favor? Opposed?
I'm gonna have to write these, who made the motion, I couldn't stop laughing. So
Motion
Dave
carried.
made the motion, who was the second? Who was the second? Okay, Jennifer, sorry. Never seen a guy so excited.
Okay, then we have an appointment of corporation treasury and deputy treasury.
Yeah, so basically the next items here, I'm just gonna go through these not meaning to be quick, but quickly. So, I'd like to recommend, corporation treasurer be Jerry Ford and the deputy treasurer be Melissa Perkins. Request approval for that, for those two items.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, I've provided a list of all the bonding of treasurers. That information is before you. I recommend you approve that as submitted.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next item, same thing. I've submitted for you, board member compensation, special meetings, committee meetings. I've put that before you. Recommend you approve that as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
If I could, please, I'm gonna go ahead, we have that resolution right now. I'm gonna go ahead and send that around. We'll just do this as we come across it.
Arthritis, good.
Just us, yeah.
Yes, sir. Next item would be establishing the meeting date, time, and place, second and fourth Mondays, 6 p.m. in Clerk office. Recommend you approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
And the same goes for appointment of Bruce Cisna as our school attorney. Resolution, you go around approving that and his compensation. I recommend you approve that request.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign this for you. Yeah, I've got minutes, I need to
I'll put it
update
as a.
this one. And the next item would be conflict of interest disclosure statements.
Yes, I have before everyone except for Jennifer Aldridge, a conflict of interest disclosure statement. All you need to do is sign that and get that to me. I do have to send that, I do have to turn that in. Thank you very much. Like the other ones there.
Okay, now the board will need to recess from our regular meeting and open the Board of Finance meeting. And for that, we will need election of officers to the Board of Finance.
So typically, I don't know if I should talk typically, but typically our board president has served in that role, so we can do that, or we don't have to do that. Additionally, the secretary has as well, so of course, whatever you guys want to do.
I'll make a motion to appoint the board president and secretary in these positions.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, so if you look in your North Spencer access, have, the Board of Finance policy is in there. We've had this policy, it basically summarizes the need for an annual meeting in January, summarizes the need to pay very close attention to the financial indicators, which are recommended by the Department of Local Government Finance. The fiscal and qualitative indicators are identified in the policy, and then also identified, I have it linked in the next item on your agenda notes where it says financial indicators from DUAD. I've also printed that out for you. So you have the link, honestly, is better information. It's interactive, gives descriptions on things. It's a little easier to read. What I printed out for you, I don't think the Department of Ed has come into the 2000s with their softwares yet. It just didn't print off good, it didn't look good, but I did print this off just to kind of summarize for you. Talks about basic information, our community, population, enrollment and demographics of North Spencer, fund balances and the breakdowns in terms of whether it's federal money that comes to us or whether it's state money that comes to us. There's other categories, operating referendum, which we do not have. So obviously ours doesn't show anything there. The revenue types, as I mentioned before, and fund balances as well. As I said, the website itself is much better in terms of what you can see and kind of interact with. So if there's questions on that, I'd be happy to answer. North Spencer also does, you guys have obviously been doing this for a little bit. Mr. Weiner, sorry to look at you. But the treasurer's reports, the financial reports that we do, that's just something we've always done. We do every 2 weeks when we meet. Comparison of funds, the statement of funds, all those reports that you guys get on an annual basis. The point is, we want you to make sure you have a feel for what the financial situation is for North Spencer. That's what the Board of Finance meeting is about. Also required, student demographics. I'd like to link to that. You can see our free reduced lunch status, our special ed numbers, and also our English language learners. If there's questions on that, I'd be happy to answer those, but otherwise it's just a breakdown by school of what each school has number-wise in that category, in those categories. And then also the register of investments that have just kind of a snippet. That's also linked for some of our investments. Any questions that you want to ask, or I'm gonna see if I know?
Pop quiz. I think it's a motion to close the finance. I'll make a motion to close.
Yes.
I'll make some motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second? All in favor, all opposed? I am seconding it. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next one, item on the agenda is approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, the next item is consideration of claims. Treasurer's report, okay.
To kind of go through the treasurer's report, first thing I'd like to note, obviously, I've been paying very close attention to our preschool and our balance. And as you can see, we're at a pretty good place at the end of 25 as compared to where we were maybe at last year at this time. So I think we've been watching very close what basically personnel expenses. I'm just trying to be a little more intentional about some of those things, and I've kind of updated you on some of those changes we've made. Also, last meeting, there was mention of Fund 300. And if you look at the revenue, the monthly revenue, so operations is the fund where we get 2 times a year, we get essentially our property tax check. And that comes at different times, end of November, beginning of December. I believe it timed pretty well with Jerry being on a quick getaway, so that it wasn't receipted right away. So now that December's been closed out, you see that property tax check receipted in the operations fund. And also the debt service, which those 2 funds are always earmarked for the property tax check. So you see a larger revenue, monthly revenue, and that is the reason for that. So I think Jennifer maybe had asked a question, so I just wanted to kind of mention that. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Make a motion to approve the claims as submitted.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Now we will go to consideration of claims.
So we have 3 different claim dockets here. The December 22nd claim docket, we have the end of year, the December 31st claim docket, and then we have the January 12th docket. So I'll just go through them very quickly. December 22nd, claims 108 to 498 through 108 569, totaling $290,371.55. Mrs. Giles, we need to abstain on claim 108 517. Mr. Wanier, we need to abstain on claim 108 530. And then for December 31st, claims 108 570 to 108 611, totaling $42,976.30. Mrs. Giles, we need to abstain on claim 108 572. And lastly, for the January 12th claim docket, 108 612 to 108 671, totaling $280,114.39. Nobody needs to abstain from that docket. Any questions on items listed within?
I'll make a motion to accept the claims.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is the year-end budget transfers.
So our last end of year budget, our agenda item for tonight. So this is basically transfers that we're allowed to make. We have a resolution. We signed, well, I didn't sign. This happened back when Mr. Sherry was still here, September 30th to 24. We were allowed for the 25 budget, which is what we're ending right now. Resolution was signed allowing us to make the necessary transfers to close out the year. So I've updated, I put that document, which is 71 pages of, if you're interested in looking at it, just all the transfers that we made, but I just need basically this, Mrs. Oxley has an extra sign to wrap that up.
Fills out, yes.
So need a motion to do this.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next item is personnel considerations. We have leaves.
Yeah, we have one leave request. I put the information before you in the agenda notes. I recommend you approve that request to leave.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Resignations.
We have 3 resignations for you to accept. One is that David Tournament, after-school care assistant. Viviana Lopez resigns her position. And Nancy Hanks, instructional assistant. Andrea Gogol resigns her position. And elementary speech language pathology assistant, Hannah Compton, resigns her position. I recommend you accept those resignations.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Appointments?
We have two appointments. One is Nancy Higgs for instructional assistant position. This is a 3-day-a-week position. Mrs. Schmidt recommends that Amanda Mailing be assigned to that position. Also, speech and language pathology assistant, Mr. Lowen and Mrs. Rickleman sat on the interview committee and recommend that Sheena Goble be assigned to that position, replacing Mrs. Compton. Recommend you approve those two requests.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
We have one other, please ignore that, the one that's there, I think you see it there, that changed at the last second. I do have another leave coverage though to recommend, that individual cover someone's maternity leave. So you have all that information before you, recommend you approve that request.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Patron comments?
Thanks for offering.
Okay, then we'll move on to old business.
Old business, we have, so now that the calendar has changed to 2026, so now a resolution we signed in the budget process on September 22nd, 2025, allows us to transfer this monthly amount, $83,333. Recommend you approve that request.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Just a quick projects update, no action is needed here, this is just a review, I just wanted a couple things brought before you. So I know we've had some discussion about the middle school skylights, and I wish we could stop talking about middle school skylights. So Mr. Stefanago basically has put it together now, so as this process happens and bids start coming in, they've separated it so that we're gonna get, basically, we're gonna be able to see all options. So they're, an alternate is to, basically to you do that pyramid structure. That's gonna be an alternate, and then the base will be to cover it. I might have those backwards, but either or. They're either gonna cover it like we initially thought, there's gonna be a price for that, and then there's gonna be a price for the pyramid structure. So those pyramids, kind of the latest picture I guess we saw was the frosted glass. You can get it clear. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're putting that pyramid over, it gets about 2.5 feet up off the slope of the roof, so it's not gonna be 5, 6, 7, 8 feet up in the air. It's gonna be about 2.5 feet up at its point. And they call it idiot-proof. I don't believe that, but they call it idiot-proof, that they will not leak. And so again, we're gonna have the information, we can make a decision on what we wanna do once that comes. Bids are due February 11th, hoping at the February 23rd board meeting that we can make a decision and move forward. So I just wanted to update you on that.
Are those pyramids baseball proof?
Idiot proof.
Of course, it's
That, I mean, just, the question I thought about was like, that roof gets in a lot.
They have been, I mean, they know all this about baseball,
Yeah, they
fields,
should.
and they know the amount of,
Hopefully they are.
traffic, I don't know if traffic is the right word, but the amount of times the roof's been hit. I will double check, but I cannot imagine we're at this point on that.
It just boggles my mind how it can be cheaper to do that, and it just totally cover over it.
I think the cost is gonna come on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Rebuilding substructure underneath.
That's where I think the cost, they didn't anticipate that as much.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Will the Stefanago group be at the February meeting or?
The February, yeah, I think we need them at the, before.
The 11th?
Well, the 11th is when bids are due, the 9th is the actual meeting. So we need them there before, so we can, again, just feel good about what we're getting on 23rd. So So anyways, I just wanted to quick update you on that because I know we had talked about that recently.
Okay, next item is a new business.
A request from the high school to sell out of service Chromebooks to graduating seniors. So basically, kids, the Chromebooks do go with the kids as they go through high school, so they are actually purchasing for $30 their Chromebook. We just need approval to allow them to do that. So I'm asking for your permission to be able to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Ray and Kippenbrock of the Lincoln Heritage Public Library reached out and asked us to consider Dee McCauley as a full-term replacement for a partial term that was actually served by Dee McCauley. So I recommend you approve Dee McCauley as a Board of Trustee appointment to the Lincoln Heritage Public Library Board.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item, so we have in March and April, we have kind of talked about changing some meeting times just to accommodate schedules and such. So I'd like to recommend the following. I'd like us to cancel the March 9th and the March 23rd meetings and instead have a meeting on March 17th at 3:30 p.m. here at the corporation office. In April, I'd recommend the April 13th and April 27th meetings be postponed and instead have them on Tuesday, April 14th and Tuesday, April 28th, both board meetings at 3:30 p.m. And we will do our school visits on those 2 days. The 14th will be at the elementary schools, the middle high will be on the 28th. So as long as that was okay with you guys, I recommend you approve those changes.
I'll make a motion.
Awesome.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, last item under new business. So I've talked to you guys quite a bit about some changes to some things that we're doing in terms of website for certain, social media, communication with our parents and such. So we've looked at different options. Our website is very outdated. So that was kind of the start of this. So what we have, what we landed on is Aptigee Suite subscription. And this is a total cost for the year, $20,366. There is a one-time transfer and then the training of $4,650. That's a one-time fee. We are currently spending about $10,000 for the same, or similar, I should say, features. So it's really an additional cost of about $10,000. I think the website will be what's much needed. We want it to be a resource for people. We want our teachers to be able to go there. We want our parents to be able to go there, and we want prospective parents and families to be able to go there. This also has a mobile app. I think it will be very nice. I don't think it'll change your life too much. But I do think it'd be quick, easy information that you can find and get that I hear parents frequently say they would like to have without going to a website or going to find it on social media. This will also replace Blooms. Blooms is a classroom communication piece that's been used for I don't know how long period of time. So this will be used to replace Blooms eventually. It'll be a transition. It'll take a little time to get to that. But I would expect the 26, 27 year it'll be in use. And I believe the middle and high school will use it a lot too, which I don't think I know has not been done with Blooms. So I think this is a big deal for us, and I think it's something we need to do. I've kind of filled you in on this up to this point, so I recommend you approve the Aptigee Suite subscription as I described.
So moved. I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is request.
Field trips, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, I recommend you approve those field trips as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Professional leave,
No professional leaves presented. I'll move on to use of facilities, and we have 3 use of facilities there. Again, if there's questions, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, I recommend you approve those facility requests.
So moved.
Second.
all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is superintendent's report.
Just a few items to share here. Mr. Engelbrecht shared with me last week, I'm sorry. The IHSAA sportsmanship update. So I guess they send out, there's a standing ranking at certain times of the year, and a couple times this year that the information's been put out, we're at exemplary status. So anyways, Mr. Engelbrecht sent an email out to all the coaches and administrators saying that. And just, again, we want to focus on integrity and doing things the right way. And so that's good to hear that from Mr. Engelbrecht. Next item, also related to athletics, and this is just information that can be good for the newspaper. I know Kate's going to start putting this information out, but the summer moratorium for athletics is going to happen from June 29th through July 12th. So essentially, the IHSAA dictates 1 week, and that's the 4th of July week. So there's really no wiggle room from that. They then mandate a second week, but that is to be determined at the local level. So there's some conflict this year with some late June dates. I believe last year they did the week before 4th of July week, and then of course the 4th of July week. Now it's 4th of July week and the week after. And that was the least amount of conflicts basically at the high school level. So that's why that decision was made. Another item shared with you, this information is linked in North Spencer Access, but the Spencer County Certified Budget Order came from the auditor last week, I'm sorry. That information is in there, and all that does is it confirms our tax rate and also the tax rates of all the other townships and municipalities. So that information is uploaded for you to review. Also wanted to give some attention to when Mr. Steinmetz messages about breakfast, I tend to perk up. They're having a community breakfast on January 30th from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. It is basically for anyone who works in an agriculture-related career. There's many examples here within Spencer County, but I know this is a well-attended breakfast. So I also wanted to bring it to your guys' attention as well. So any other questions? Any thoughts on breakfast, Mr. Ford?
Except to attend.
Okay. All right.
it is very interesting to see all those kids. I mean, they're so engaged. It's a very neat event.
I agree. They also do a luncheon later in the year, and they do that for staff, and of course, FFA and agriculture kids. It's pretty neat. Good pork chop.
Okay, no other, then I entertain a motion to adjourn and go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 6:45.
You guys gotta see how to get into your signatures.
I know, it's a lot.